Think we're ready to roll, Robin.
Awesome. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Excited to be here with Robin. So my name's Austin Woodward. I'm the CEO of TaxBit, and I'm here with Robin O'Connell, who's the Chief Revenue Officer of Uphold. So Robin and I, we met each other a couple of years back now, which is forever in crypto years, right? In kind of 2017 and that big bull market run. And so since then, we've developed a great relationship. So starting with TaxBit, we are a crypto tax accounting firm and software platform that really brings technology to the tax space and enables automated crypto tax calculations, which aren't a sexy topic by any means, but when you couple it on with technology, it provides a lot of power to really give users information into their real-time tax liability, how they can optimize their trades, and then being able to, automate the forms from filing to disseminating to the IRS. So that's what we do, and we're excited to not only do that within our own application, but bring that in-house into Uphold's application. So I'll let Robin introduce himself and talk about kind of the overview of our relationship.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Robin O'Connell. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Uphold. Basically, that's just a fancy name for, partnership BD guy. Many of you probably know Uphold, through your direct experience as a wallet, a place where you can easily exchange digital assets between each other, et cetera. But one of the pieces that's unique to Uphold is we, from really the get-go, and I've been at the company almost 5 years, we had this kind of open API approach to our platform. So while we built this platform where you can instantly change digital value, to do that, there's so much that's required: licensing, connection to banks, reserve management system, et cetera, et cetera. And we figured, hey, we'll build the core platform, and then there'll be other companies that will want to leverage that. And so we've taken this very open strategic approach versus a closed kind of, it's only our way or the highway. We want to expose our capabilities to other partners. And TaxBit is a really great example of that, where, we basically work together. We make it easy for an Uphold customer. We have over 2 million globally these days. To go and effectively connect their Uphold account to TaxBit and make it easy for people to do their taxes. Because as you know, and it's been a very evolving and changing environment, basically, waiting for the IRS to tell us what to do. It's not easy to follow, but it is a requirement. And so the beauty of TaxBit is that you can just, with a few clicks, suck in all of your data, and then they make sense for it. You can then, send it over to your accountant and get your taxes done. So it's been a great relationship, and we'll probably in this discussion talk about how we're expanding that relationship from just basically connecting your Uphold account so that you can do your taxes to other things that we think will provide value to our users.
Yeah, that's right on. And there's been a lot of discussion in the tax space recently. What we're going through right now is really unprecedented with the unfortunate global impact of COVID-19. And so as a result of that, the IRS just did announce that they extended tax day or tax season to July 15th. That's never happened before. So that is a crazy, unprecedented thing that we're going through right now. And so the first question that someone asked is, how does that affect me? Should I wait to file my taxes until closer to July 15th, or should I go ahead and do them now? And that's a great question. I know that entered my mind as soon as I heard the announcement. And the answer kind of depends on your personal situation. But for the majority of people, you're going to want to go ahead and file your taxes now, because data shows that 75% of US taxpayers are entitled to a tax refund each year. And so the IRS has not put a halt to getting your tax refund. They're issuing those. And so money now is better than money later. So yeah, do not be hesitant to go and file your taxes. You do not need to wait until closer to July 15th, as tax refunds are still being processed, and that most likely is your scenario. If it's not, you can, get your taxes all prepared. You might see that you might owe some money. And at that time, you can make the conscious decision to keep the dollars in your pocket a little bit longer and wait a little bit closer towards July 15th to actually remit and pay those dollars. But yeah, as Robin said, I just wanted to address that first topic because I know that's on everyone's minds right now. This conversation, we went ahead and we gathered questions from you guys. And if you didn't get a chance to answer a question, there's the Q&A button on your screen that you can ask questions now. But Robin and I are going to go through some of these questions and then really speak about the relationship that we've continued to iterate and develop on. As Robin mentioned, kind of V1 of our relationship was allowing Uphold users to instantaneously connect their data and get it into TaxBit's application. Well, iteration 2 has already been launched and happened, and that was running tax calculations on behalf of all Uphold users within Uphold's application and submitting tax forms to Uphold users. And so Uphold, one of the things I love about them is that they are a technology-driven platform, the same way that TaxBit is. And so when you combine two companies together that have a technology thesis, it creates even better, more powerful technology. And that's what we're currently doing on the tax front. And so, Robin, I'll let you speak to this more as far as kind of the future tax center rollout and plans and how you envision that.
Sure. Yeah. And I alluded it to when I was just speaking. So, obviously there's the event of, and I'm guilty of this. It's like, I don't really think about taxes, until the last minute, really. It's like, I have an accountant and I ping him and, I'm basically like, hey man, can you do me a favor? I know I'm late with all my stuff again, can you get this going for me? And so, normally, I would assume that's how most people deal with their taxes, right? Unless you've, completely got, you're a person that plans way ahead. But if you think about it, especially if you're active on an exchange or on a wallet like Uphold, there's a tax event that's happening, and maybe you can actually speak to this. We could be interactive, but the tax events happen every time you buy or sell any cryptocurrency or utility token. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Anytime you dispose of it, yeah. When you buy it, it sets your cost basis, and you have to track that through all the various movements.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if you think about it, as you're going about your business, whether it be, and cryptocurrency and utility tokens, we see on our platform are used for so many different things. I mean, sometimes they're used for speculation as an investment. Sometimes they're used to remit funds for a freelancer. We see a lot of that type of activity. We even have a debit card that's now tied to really any of your digital assets. And so anytime you're effectively, selling a cryptocurrency or utility token, it's a tax event. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is, instead of going back to my story, just have you kind of consider the tax impact of it at the time that you're doing your taxes, is it ought to be something that you're kind of keeping an eye on throughout the year and throughout your activity. And there's actually some pretty cool tools that we're working with TaxBit where you can actually make that work in your favor. So I don't know if I can bounce it back to you to kind of give a little bit of a tease of what's coming, but you can imagine that as you're buying and selling for whatever it might be, that you should be able to know what that tax impact is happening, because the market goes up, the market goes down, et cetera. So with that, I'll allow you to create even some more color around it.
Exactly. That was a good setup. So yeah, exactly what Robin said. So Uphold and TaxBit, we issue 1099-B tax forms to all US Uphold users just several weeks ago. And that really was unprecedented, because before that, there weren't many cryptocurrency exchange platforms giving their users cost basis information, which makes their tax filing process much more simple. And so that was really neat to be able to accomplish that objective. But as Robin said, that was only step one. No one wants to receive that tax form at year end and find out for the first time what their taxable gains or losses might be, especially as cryptocurrency use cases continue to proliferate. Uphold's debit card is a great example. Our first question is actually on that topic, which I'll get into. But teeing up what Robin said, we are actually going to interface within Uphold's platform a full tax center suite where those real-time gains and losses for whatever your trading activity might be, whether it be trades within Uphold's platform, whether it be debit card transactions or any of the other aspects that Uphold offers on their platform, all of those will be real-time tracked. So you can get an idea of where you are at from a tax standpoint and plan. On top of that, we're actually going to give users visibility into certain transactions that if they were to make, here is the tax impact of those transactions before they even make them. And so we can prompt users, hey, you have this tax arbitrage opportunity, a way to harvest a loss and save X amount of dollars on taxes if you do this. And we can actually show you known outcomes before you even make those trades. That is powerful. Now, all of a sudden, taxes just aren't a once a year compliance exercise where you're filing your forms. You can save real dollars and keep dollars in your pocket and even get dollars back from the IRS, depending on tax optimized trades and debit card transactions that you enter into. So with that, Robin, I'm going to tee up kind of the first question.
Wait, before you go there, Austin, I just want to, that was a great explanation, but can you give us like a dead simple example of that? Because for tax optimized trade, isn't that relate to, okay, maybe I've accumulated, I don't know, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, but I probably didn't accumulate that $1,000 worth of Bitcoin all at once, right? Like at one point I accumulated some of it, at a gain, and maybe some of it at a loss, or maybe some of it at a bigger gain or a bigger loss or what have you. And can you kind of describe that and how it might alter somebody's decision in terms of how much or what they're selling exactly?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then you add on the components of some of it you're holding for short-term period, some of it's long-term period, your different tax rates. It's complicated, but to simplify it to your example, you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, a user obtained that $1,000 in 10 different trades. TaxBit will track all of those cost basis transactions and then display to the user in-app, hey, your basis on these transactions, given the current market value of Bitcoin, you're at a loss in this position, or you're at a gain that's short-term in nature, taxed at the highest tax bracket in this position. If you were to trade this lot and not this lot, depending on the most optimal situation, that's where the power comes in and you can save real dollars in your taxes. So I think that helps clarify it a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, that was exactly.
Technology on the back end is super complicated, but the intuitive part is how easy we make it on the front end for users.
Perfect.
So the first question here is, can you talk about the Uphold debit card and transactions that use crypto? Is each transaction a taxable event? How do we track those? So Robin, let's talk about the Uphold debit card.
First of all, what is the Uphold debit card? It's a completely unique, you've seen other crypto debit cards out there, but what's unique about the Uphold debit card is that you can basically tie your purchase right at the time of the transaction to really any digital value that's on Uphold. So, whether it be fiat, whether it be crypto, we also support commodities. So you could literally buy your donuts with gold if you so chose. But the idea is that when you're making the purchase, you can make it with whatever digital asset you want. So giving you that freedom. Now, if it's a cryptocurrency, yes, it's a taxable event, because what's happening is, say it's Bitcoin example, it's taking that Bitcoin and right at the time of the transaction, it's pulling it from your Uphold account and it's selling it effectively in order to pay the merchant. So that is a taxable event, and it's key that you have something like a TaxBit, because really anytime you buy or sell sell a cryptocurrency, it's going to be a taxable event. So whether you have 1 or 100 or 1,000, you want to make it one simple step versus making it too complicated. So hopefully I explained that okay. But the short answer is yes. And longer answer is, you, in partnership with a company like TaxBit, we're able to make it so that it's not a difficult thing to track that.
Yeah, that's right on. Just to add to that, no one wants to keep swiping that debit card and then find out at year end what their gains or losses were. And so incorporating technology on top of the debit card to do automated visibility, real-time visibility into what the tax impact of those debit card transactions are, that's key. But not only stopping there, but imagine before you swipe that debit card, if you got a mobile notification saying, hey, swipe using gold or swipe using Litecoin. Don't use this Bitcoin because you have a tax optimized trade if you use this. And you'll save this amount of dollars. That's where we're going. And that's where the relationship is going to progress to. And that's what we're really excited about is how can we make cryptocurrency a real life usable technology at point of sale and just all these other use cases while automating the taxes on the back end in the most optimized and intuitive way.
Cool.
Anything to add there, Robin, or should we go to the next one?
Go to the next one.
All right. Thank you for moving to 1099Bs. These were so much more helpful than the 1099K. How come you didn't do this sooner?
The world of crypto and taxes has evolved over the last 2 years since I first met TaxBit. And one of the things we like about TaxBit is that they have an ear to the ground with the IRS and what's coming. So I believe we were one of the first to make this switch, and it was really, partly at the guidance of what we're hearing from the ground from the IRS. So do you want to just first describe what are the actual differences between the two?
Yeah. So a Form 1099K was kind of industry precedent back years ago. And so that form was intended for eBay and Etsy sellers. It's third-party merchants that are earning money on a third-party platform. So you're selling something in return for goods and services. Well, cryptocurrency exchanges were issuing this form marking to market the gross proceed value of all of your cryptocurrency transactions. So it didn't report cost basis. Well, the problem with this form is that the IRS viewed the number reported on that form as ordinary income, thinking that, oh no, these were goods and services that people obtained and they need to pay taxes at the highest tax rate on those goods and services that they sold or provided. Well, the industry has since progressed a lot, and that's what's really exciting where, hey, these are actually property transactions that have cost basis associated with them, and each property transaction needs to be itemized on a form 8949 for the user. And so Uphold made the proactive choice, along with our help, to go ahead and give users that information on what's called a Form 1099B. It itemizes all of the transactions that you need to report to the IRS. It reports cost basis and gross proceeds and net profit or loss by transaction, and it makes users' lives much easier in order to go and complete their required IRS tax form. And so the reason, Uphold didn't do that prior was, one, it was industry precedent to do the 1099K. That was an easy form to issue. It doesn't itemize any transactions. It's a one-number form. And so technology, quite frankly, didn't exist back in 2017 and 2018 to even make itemizing and tracking cost basis possible at the exchange level. Well, it exists now. And like I said prior, Uphold embraces technology. They're one of the first movers, to always look for the most cutting edge technology. And that's what they did in this instance. And we're really excited about kind of the positive reaction to that from Uphold users on receiving that form.
Cool.
Jump into the next question. So it says, I have a few missing cost basis lines on my 1099B. How can I fill those in and not have missing basis in the future? That's a more technical tax question, so I'll continue speaking here. And so, yeah, as you know, lots of cryptocurrency users, they transfer assets on and off exchanges. And so when a user does that, Uphold loses visibility into what the cost basis was. If you bought a coin on another cryptocurrency platform and transfer it onto Uphold and then sold it on Uphold, Uphold doesn't know what you paid for that coin. And so if that's the case, you might have a few missing cost basis lines on your 1099B. It is your responsibility to fill those in. Uphold provides you what the sale value is, your gross proceeds. You as a taxpayer need to go and report what the cost basis was, because that gives you your gain or loss. Proceeds less cost basis equals gain or loss. You can do that in a couple of different ways. The first and easiest way is you can use TaxBit. You can connect your Uphold account and all of your other cryptocurrency exchanges directly into TaxBit, and we'll go in and fill in those missing cost basis lines for you. and even populate your full IRS 8949, which then uploads into TurboTax, Tax Act, or over to your accountant at a click of a button. That's the easiest way. And those numbers are all going to reconcile straight back to your 1099-B that Uphold provided. Another way that you can do it is if you have good records yourself of what you paid, and if you're trying to track of this in Excel, if your situation's not too complicated, then you can go in and you can use an accountant, or you can do it yourself and fill in those cost basis lines. Just be careful that your records are accurate and you're maintaining those properly, because you just want to make sure that what you're filing with the IRS is accurate. So those are the two methods I would recommend to report any missing cost basis. I do want to note though, if you were to only use Uphold and not transfer assets on and off exchange, that tax form at year end is going to be complete. It's going to have all of your cost basis ready to go. You're not even going to need to use an accountant or a consumer product to aggregate things. And so that's something to know.
Yes, exactly. Keep it simple. Just use Uphold.
Awesome. Let me go to the next one here. I used another crypto tax software in the past and noticed that their data didn't reconcile to my 1099 provided to me by Uphold. I switched to TaxBit and all of their data reconciled to my 1099. Am I at risk for prior years by switching tax vendors? It's another more technical question, and there's a lot of diversity in practice when it comes to tax reporting. It is hard to do. There's a lot of transaction volume. There's a lot of pricing lookups and everything. There are people that do it right and there are people that do it wrong. And that's just kind of the reality of the situation. So you need to be careful in who you choose. So TaxBit was founded by CPAs and tax attorneys. I myself am a CPA, and we take great pride in the accuracy of everything we do. In order to furnish 1099-Bs for Uphold, you better believe that there was extensive review by third parties, but internally and everything to make sure that every number on that form is accurate. And so, yes, if you want all of your numbers to tie out to the 1099 forms, which are basically gospel and accurate, then TaxBit's going to be the software that's going to make sure that that happens and everything reconciles. Are you at risk for prior years? That's hard to say in all reality. If your tax forms were wrong, you're always at risk, yes. Is the IRS going to audit you and find it and discover it? I don't know. And that's a risk that you're going to have to personally decide and take. I will say that TaxBit plans include all prior year tax forms for no additional charge. And so that's really powerful and something that no one else provides. You can go in and see all of your results for your prior years and compare them to what you filed on a different platform. And then you can make the choice, hey, should I amend my prior year filings? Was it material? Was it something I need to be worried about? And we can help you. We've got live chat experts that can help you make that decision and make sure that you're in a good spot. Anything to add to that, Robin? Probably not.
Probably not.
Cool.
I'm good.
All right. We'll go to the next one here. My accountant took my 1099-B and filed my taxes. He was impressed that Uphold provided transaction level detail. Thanks. I read that more tax functionality will be coming. What can I look for?
Yeah, I think this is the piece that we spoke to earlier, and I think it really revolves around the bigger idea that taxes are not just a one-time event. Anytime you're selling cryptocurrency, there's a tax event, and there's a way to manage that. And there's not only a way to manage that and track it, there's a way to optimize it. So we want to provide those tools, make it simple, make it happen on Uphold so that, it can, you can make a smart decision. And so those are the things that are coming. And, TaxBit's been a great partner to, help identify some of those opportunities. And we look forward to bringing that to market.
Yeah, I think that's right on. I think we covered this one, and that's right on. We've got a few more minutes here, Robin. I'm going to open up some of these Q&As that came in. Will the stimulus be taxable? That's a good question. I like how you're thinking. I hadn't thought about that. My guess, once again, I haven't looked this up. My guess is that it will not be. I mean, the goal of the whole stimulus is to get money into the pockets of U.S. citizens in order to help the economy. So I think that would be tax exempt. But once again, haven't looked that up. So that's my best guess. Another question, could you explain the difference between several of the different 1099 forms that exchanges are using? 1099B forms, some are using 1099 MIS, 1099 DIV. How does the Uphold Cred Earn partnership play into this, and TaxBit Uphold partnership? So yeah, I'll just cover the tax forms that you addressed there. 1099 MIS, 1099 dividend. So a miscellaneous 1099, that is an income 1099 form. So an income 1099 form is included in the income section of your tax return. That's the same thing as a W-2. That income amount is taxed at the highest tax bracket, tax rate. A 1099B, however, that is not an income reporting tax form. That is a capital gain and loss reporting tax form. So capital assets have preferential tax rates. If they're long-term in nature, your tax rate is either 0%, 15%, or 20%, depending on your income level. Short-term transactions can fall into your ordinary income tax bracket. And so these tax forms kind of dictate where you report things on your tax form. A 1099 dividends are taxed at, ordinary income as well. And so that it just kind of dictates where you put that in, is dividend income, or as capital gain or loss income, or as ordinary income. And so the use case of what we're talking about is important. As it relates to cred, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Robin, but cred is an interest platform, right? You can earn interest by depositing crypto into their account. Mm-hmm. So yes, in that instance, interest earned can go on a 1099 miscellaneous tax form that could be issued to you, or a 1099 INT tax form, a 1099 interest tax form. And so those are taxed at, ordinary income, whatever your tax rate is. And that goes kind of in that applicable section of your tax return. Once again, I don't want to give too much tax advice broadly here. It depends on your personal situation. We can help with this. So reach out to TaxBit. We have a live chat app within our portal, and we can go into more details on your individual tax situation.
Fantastic. Any other questions, or it looks like we've hit the time mark here?
We have. I think we addressed all of the questions here.
Fantastic. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, Austin, and good health to everybody and their families.
Likewise, Robin. Thank you, and thank Uphold, and we're excited for the relationship to continue to grow and really help out Uphold users. That's going to be really exciting. Like you said, stay healthy, everyone.
All right. Bye now.